Steve Jobs co-founded Apple at 21. Ingvar Kamprad founded IKEA at 17. Mark Zuckerberg launched Facebook at 19. Bill Gates created Microsoft at 22. Daniel Ek built Spotify at 23. And Larry Page was only 25 when he co-founded Google. These are the stories we hear on repeat. They're everywhere. They dominate headlines, shine across glossy giant magazine covers, and plant a single stereotype. If you haven't made it in your 20s, bruh, you're cooked. Then you rush to YouTube or Google, typing frantically, how to get rich in your 20s. And right on cue, the get-rich-quick gurus appear. Perfect lighting, scripted speeches, nicely packaged illusions of value. You follow every step. You pour in time, money, and resources, and then nothing. You're left drained, chasing shadows that were never real to begin with. But here's the truth, the one you barely get told. Success doesn't have an expiry date. Some of the greatest world-shaping ideas came long after the so-called prime years. The likes of Jeff Bezos founded Amazon at 30. Oprah Winfrey launched her iconic talk show at 32. Elon Musk started Tesla at 33. Tyler Perry built his studio empire at 37. Sam Walton opened Walmart at 44. Ray Kroc turned McDonald's into a global empire at 52. And Colonel Sanders? He was 65 when KFC became a household name. The obsession with youth success is a myth. A dangerous myth. It convinces millions they're running out of time, when in truth, time has barely even begun. Every birthday starts to feel like a deadline. Every glance at social media sounds like a clock ticking louder, faster, closer. Everywhere you look, the same picture is painted. 30 under 30. The youngest billionaire in history. The next big thing. From rags to riches. The self-made billionaire. The prodigy who changed the world overnight. These stories are designed to inspire you, but instead, they often crush you. Psychologists call it social comparison theory. It's the idea that we measure our worth against others, especially those closest to us in age, and the more we compare, the worse we feel. This intense pressure has been linked to higher levels of anxiety, depression, and even burnout, making young people believe their lives are slipping away before they've even turned 30. But here's the irony. The very people we idolize, most of them didn't even peak in their 20s. Researchers at MIT studied thousands of startups and discovered something surprising. The most successful entrepreneurs weren't 20-something prodigies. On average, they were 45 years old. The idea that your 20s are the make or break years isn't supported by the data. In fact, the opposite is true. And in this video, you'll see why your best years might still be ahead of you. In every corner of the internet, young dreamers are setting out with boundless energy. Maybe you are one of them. A new YouTuber, full of hope, cracks his head for hours for the best idea possible, and he spends weeks researching, scripting, recording, and editing his very first video. The moment it goes live, he refreshes his analytics page every hour, waiting for the numbers to climb. But the views never come. The excitement quickly turns into silence, then into doubt, then into something much heavier. Perhaps you know that feeling too. It might be from something you tried and failed. You begin to wonder if maybe you are not good enough, if success belongs only to others, and you are not alone. Across the world, millions of 20-somethings take their first steps toward building something meaningful in different fields, only to trip at the very beginning and convince themselves they were never meant to walk that road in the first place. Normally, you would keep trying, but under the pressure of making it before 30, just as society has painted it to be. At best, you move on to the next trending thing, hoping to get lucky. And in the worst cases, you completely decide never to try again. The problem is bigger than just one failed attempt. Many young people drop out of ventures too soon. Maybe you have too. You leap from one idea to another, music today, trading tomorrow, real estate the next week, never staying long enough to push through the pain of discipline. And who can blame you? In an age where every scroll on social media shows a peer already living the dream, the weird dude back from uni driving the most luxury car, living in their dream mansions, you see girls your age already carrying designer bags worth thousands of dollars, flying first class to different countries every now and then, just for shopping spree of expensive cloths and jewelries, posing with $1 million smile with the latest iPhone. It feels like everyone else has cracked the code. Then there's you, who probably just celebrated your 21st birthday some weeks ago. You start looking for ways to make this money so you can join those who are living the life. You begin to search the internet, making you vulnerable to the fake remote job experts on YouTube, with posts such as how to make $250 per day, $350 daily, $1,780 per week, $1,280 overnight. These videos attract huge audiences, and most of their viewers are between the ages of 18 and 29. I am guessing that about 95% of people watching this video have fallen into this trap. I was a victim myself. The formulas sound simple, the steps look easy, and the testimonies seem real. So you try, you follow tutorials, courses, and gurus, but when the results do not arrive, frustration turns into despair. This cycle creates a silent epidemic, especially among Gen Z, an entire generation paralyzed by comparison, stuck between fear of failure and the endless pursuit of shortcuts when they haven't really worked hard enough. There is a truth that almost nobody wants to confront. Maybe the problem is not the lack of opportunity, but the expectation that success should come instantly. Maybe what truly kills dreams is not the fear of failure, but quitting at the first obstacle because of a dangerous myth that your 20s are the age when you are supposed to have it all figured out. Now you're feeling like you have failed in life already when you are literally just getting started. Behind that myth stands society itself. That guy you both went to college with is already flying a private jet from one city to another while you're still using Uber to move about. The pressure is relentless because success today is not just about building something meaningful, it is about being seen as young and successful. The obsession has shifted. It is no longer about steady progress, but about making it before 30, landing on Forbes' 30 under 30. This cultural obsession has pushed people to the extreme. Take the story of Elizabeth Holmes, for example. Once hailed as the youngest self-made female billionaire, she made it to the front page of Forbes after promising the world Theranos, a medical revolution that never existed. When she was exposed, the same magazines that had once celebrated her made brutal articles about her lies. Anna Sorokin, desperate to live among New York's elite and claim her spot among the young and rich, faked her entire identity until it collapsed. Or is it Sam Bankman-Fried, the young man they called the boy genius of cryptocurrency? Barely in his late 20s, he was painted as the Warren Buffett of digital currency. In 2021, Forbes even mentioned him on its 30 under 30 list, praising his empire as the future of finance. The world believed him, but behind the hype, the glossy magazine covers and endless interviews was a web of lies. His company, FTX, collapsed almost overnight, leaving a $30 billion hole for people after swindling them of their life savings. The same society and the same magazines that once cheered him as a prodigy soon branded him the biggest fraud of a generation. Both Elizabeth Holmes, Anna Delvey, and Sam Bankman-Fried were chasing the same mirage, the urge to make it before 30. But what if the tables turn, and suddenly it is you, feeling the pressure, the relentless pull to make it before 30, to etch your name among the under 30 billionaires? What choice do you have? What path do you take when the world's expectations press down on your shoulders, and every tick of the clock whispers that time is running out? According to legendary American philosopher and writer Amos Bronson Alcott, success is sweet and sweeter if long delayed and gotten through many struggles and defeats. Warren Buffett is one of the richest men alive, but here's what many don't know. 99% of his wealth came after his 50th birthday. He kept investing, learning, and let time compound his efforts. Now, at 94, he sits on a fortune of $146.2 billion according to Forbes. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job at 23 and told she wasn't fit for television. After so much struggle, she eventually created the Oprah Winfrey Show that ran for 25 years. Today, at 71, she is the richest black female billionaire in the United States. Michael Bloomberg once lost his job at 39. Most people would have stopped there, but not long after, at 40, he built Bloomberg Business. 15 years later, at 55, he was already a billionaire. Today, at 83, his fortune stands at over $100 billion, and currently, he is the richest person in New York, all because he started again at 40. Henry Ford was 45 when he finally created the Model T, the car that put the world on wheels. Before that, he faced failures, bankruptcies, and rejection after rejection. Yet when it worked in his 40s, it worked so well that it changed history forever. Viola Davis grew up in deep poverty, often too hungry to concentrate in school, yet she never let go of her dream of acting. After years of struggle and prejudice, her breakthrough finally came at 46 with the movie Doubt. From there, she rose to become one of the world's most celebrated actresses. Now at 60, she holds the rare EGOT status, which means she has won an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony, making her the first black actor in history to achieve the triple crown of acting. Colonel Sanders was 65 when he opened the first Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it failed. With only his social security check, he went door to door pitching his idea and faced rejection again and again. But he didn't give up. His persistence turned into a global empire. Today, KFC is worth billions and still thriving decades after he passed away. Tyler Perry began chasing his dreams in his early 20s, struggling through failure and even living in his car, but his breakthrough didn't come until much later. At 37, he launched one of the largest film studios in America. And then there is Sam Walton, who came from nothing and started with a small store using a loan from his father-in-law. When the lease for the store expired, the landlord refused to renew it just so he could take over the business that was finally making some money. Sam lost the store along with most of his profit and customer loyalty. But he started again at 44. Today, Walmart is the largest retailer in the world, with locations across 19 countries and over $760 billion in revenue. Some of these people might have started in their 20s, but they didn't find success until later in life, when they were over 30. But let's be clear, delayed success doesn't mean early success is wrong. Am I saying one shouldn't try to be successful in their 20s? Absolutely not. In fact, being legitimately successful as a vicenarian is one of the best things that can happen to anyone in life. Who wouldn't like to gain independence at an age when most people are still seeking direction? Making your own choices, walking your own path, and living without restrictions. Think about what it means to care for your parents while they're still young enough to truly enjoy the comfort you bring, to lift your loved ones long before they even expect it. Success this early will give you more than just the ability to survive. It hands you time. Time to live beyond the necessities, time to explore the world, time to build, to give back, and to inspire others. With great discipline, good movement, and self-control, you can build a lifelong legacy. And if the opportunity is well managed, then you can even build generational wealth. But one of the dangers of stumbling into success in your 20s without the scars and lessons that failure teaches is that such success can collapse under its own weight. Many young achievers fall into common traps: reckless spending, arrogance, ignoring good advice, or believing the good times will last forever. Two of my favorite quotes on mistakes from business giant Warren Buffett are, "It's good to learn from your mistakes. It's better to learn from other people's mistakes, and it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it." If you think about that, you'll do things differently. In the context of your 20s, these words are a reminder that while failure is a teacher, wisdom also comes from observing the failures of others. And reputation, your credibility, your character, is fragile. Without discipline, a single careless decision can undo years of effort. This is why those early lessons matter so deeply. Without them, success doesn't shape you. It blinds you, leaving you unprepared for the storms that will inevitably come. We often forget that life doesn't follow one straight timeline, and we don't all move at the same pace. Some people rise early, others rise later. And that's okay. What if your story isn't meant to unfold in your prime years? Does it mean it's over? Absolutely not. Somewhere along the way, society planted this lie that by your 20s, you should already know who you are, where you're going, and how to get there, that somehow you should have life all figured out. But the truth? These years are not about perfection. They're about exploration. Think of your 20s as a puzzle. Every choice you make is a piece. Every failure is another fragment. Every lesson learned is a new corner falling into place. At times, it feels messy, like the pieces don't fit, like you'll never see the full picture. But isn't that what puzzles are meant for? You keep turning the pieces, trying different angles, learning from what doesn't work until, slowly, the image begins to reveal itself. They say, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And so, take this as your guide and always try to learn from your mistakes while solving the puzzle. Your 20s are that process. They're the years where failure is not a punishment, but preparation. Your chance to take risks, to fall, to start again, to learn, and to grow. And if you manage to solve the puzzle in this chapter of your life, congratulations. But if you haven't, that's not the end. Isn't it better to collect scars now, when time is still on your side, than to live in fear of falling at all? Because every wrong turn, every setback is still pointing you closer to the right path. And once you understand that, you'll see that your 20s are not about arriving, they're about becoming. Under 30, over 30. Age doesn't protect you. One system failure could bring everything down. The GPS story on your screen will show you how.